Hi, I'm Blake.
And I'm Jamie.
Please try that again.
Hey, I'm Jamie.
I'm Blake.
And we're blaming.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Today we're talking, well, I guess context here, we're halfway through the year, right? And so what we decided we'd do is we'd talk about our favorite book we read so far this year and our least favorite book we've read so far this year. Now, obviously, we've read a lot of books, and there's probably lots of them that are great and lots of them that are meh.
Yeah.
But we just have limited them down, much to Jamie's chagrin.
This was so hard.
Yeah, to our least favorite and our favorites. So why don't you start out with us?
Deal. Wait, with my least favorite?
Yeah, let's go least favorite. Send on the high notes.
All right. Here's a caveat, though. I really am not a fan of memoirs, so maybe I just am the wrong person to have read this in general. But Crying in H Mart was just probably, it's got to be my least favorite of the year so far.
Interesting. I know that's a popular one.
It is popular, and that's why I was excited to read it. I was like, okay, I don't love memoirs, but I'll read it because it's popular. But yeah, I'm okay to just forget about it, and I already kind of have. Really, she talks about her food every other paragraph. That got old really fast.
Isn't a lot about like Asian culture and the mom dying and her coming to kind of grips with that?
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
There's like one redeeming quality about the book where like, can we do spoilers here?
Sure, spoiler warning.
Spoiler. Once her mom dies, all growing up, she's like focusing on all of her white features because her dad's white, and everything white about her is really cool, and like her aunts and uncles are jealous and just like loving the white parts of her. But then once her mom dies, it's kind of cool to see her like really cherish the Asian parts of her. That was kind of cool. But the rest, getting to that point was kind of painful.
Like, it is interesting because you say you're not a fan of memoirs, but I've had to read memoirs that you've loved. So, I mean,
a single memoir that I loved.
Born a Crime was excellent.
So good.
So, I mean, maybe it's just you need good memoirs.
I guess so.
Yeah, a bit. All right. My least favorite, I actually don't own anymore.
We got rid of it.
This is a stand-in. So this is The Name of the Wind.
This is good, by the way.
This is excellent. Really good. Packed it off us. And it's part of the reason I didn't like it. So he has a novella that I read called The Slow Regard of Silent Things. And it was slow, and I wish I had never read it. That should be the title. Slow, and you should never read this.
That's harsh.
It was weird, and it just was so very unfulfilling. And
unnecessary?
Unnecessary, maybe. Like, it was interesting. Like, it takes a character who is interesting in the book because you don't get a lot of her and gives you way too much of her in a way that's just strange and just, again, unfulfilling. So I maybe there's just a slow regard for that book and it'll come over time to me, but yeah, just no thank you.
I think the fact that you already got rid of it is really telling.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't got rid of this one yet.
Yeah. It was instantly in my to be swapped pile because it was just not good, which is really bad because I love his other books. Well, to be fair, I love Name of the Wind, and A Wise Man's Fear is okay. So I guess he's batting like less than 50% at this point for me.
Ouch, that's
so
harsh.
it's who knows? Maybe if Doors of Stone ever comes out, we'll see how much I like his other stuff. It's not that the writing was bad by any means. I just was very, very bored the majority of the book. So I don't know. Tell me what you think if you read it. But incredibly boring.
It is helpful. That book's only like this thick.
Yeah.
So at least you wouldn't.
But it took me freaking forever to get through because it was so boring. Like, I can read a book this thick in like 2 days if I'm excited. It took me like a week and a half to get through a 150-page book. It was awful.
That's painful.
All right. How about best? What do we got?
This is hard because I remembered one right as I sat down, but I'll stick with these, and it's also 2 books, so I'm cheating, but these guys.
Okay, that's fair. That is the best book that you'll read this year.
I loved them. I love them, I should say. I just finished Words of Radiance today, and basically I'm ready to start the third. I just have other things, so I'm really tempted to start the third right away.
Here's an interesting thing, because I almost grabbed one of the books I just barely finished and said this is the best. How much do you think there's a recency bias?
Oh, I've got such a bad recency bias.
Right. Like, there are other books back there. Although I will say those are 2 of my favorite books ever, so it's hard for me to think that maybe some of the other stuff you've read are as good as that. But definitely others. So I went back a ways towards the very beginning of the year, and I grabbed Gideon the Ninth. So I really, really enjoyed this book, partly because it was so weird and different and surprising. And fun. And so there are other books that I've enjoyed. I think maybe just the experience of this one made it my favorite because of how surprised and delighted I was that I enjoyed this book so much.
Fun.
But anyways, really, really good. To give a brief summary, this is, in fact, I think the summary on here says it somewhere. Maybe not. But it's Gothic lesbians explore space... lesbian necromancers explore a Gothic space palace. Is it? So,
that sounds fun.
Anyways, really interesting, really fun. Highly enjoyed it. I had a few honorable mentions that fought with this, but I think this at the end came out on top for me.
Are we mentioning our honorable mentions?
Sure.
I have one and one.
Throw out an honorable mention for each of them. That's fine.
Least favorite, 1984. That was a weird book.
Okay.
And boring and not up my alley.
Okay.
Most favorite, it'll come to me, Project Hail Mary. Really, really loved that book.
You know what? Project Hail Mary may be higher on my list than.
Did you read that this year?
Oh, I don't know. It was either close. It was either like right at the end of the year last year or there. So maybe I'll just assume that it wasn't in this year.
So you didn't leave it out.
So I didn't leave it out, but that is a really good one. So really for me, the Fool's Errand series are the ones that I enjoyed. The Fool's Errand is the first one. The Golden Fool are the next one, and I have the last one the Fool's Fate that I'm sitting on my nightstand ready to be read. So I'm excited about that. As for least favorite, there was a bunch of like business self-help books that are kind of in the iffy section of their, but, it's probably one of those. But if I'm actually being honest, I think John Gwynne's Ruin.
So fascinating.
It's probably and part of it is just the high expectations. It's the third book of a series going into it, and it just really didn't move the plot along very much, and I was just disappointed by it. So it's not that it was a bad book by any means. I still like the series. I'll still finish the series. Okay. It just didn't meet my expectations. So
bummer.
Yeah.
Well, there's a crying child. Sorry if you've heard that crying child this whole time. But like and subscribe. What do they say? Click the bell.
Ding. Check out other videos. We'll see you later.
See you. Bye.
Bye.